we've worked with companies like Kraken, with companies like Polygon, Coinbase, Solana, Bags. Nice. So what was your
What's the
conversion like?
conversion?
Then
KOLs are so important.
content creators literally copy paste that thing. It's like trying to launch a token when Trump got shot.
Founders doesn't show the face.
Cringe.
Yeah.
100%. Vitalik singing in Japanese in a conference, and the price of Ethereum went down. So cringe.
Okay.
Obviously, price going up is your best marketing. Launching a Kaito campaign is just a waste of money. And then when the token launched, it was dead. Founders want to spend a ton of money trying to, like I said to them, I warned them, you're going to waste this money and it's much better to take your time and maybe push back TGE. Sometimes it could also be that not the right KOLs were selected. They were actually just botted accounts. People are starting to want to work less with big content creators and more with niche creators. Western market, people focus more on hype and vibes and attention. In the Asian market, it certainly feels like it's more informative. It's full of bugs. You see the traffic numbers going up, but the conversion numbers are not there.
It's always hard to measure.
The easiest way to measure KOL impact is
Where to find good KOLs?
specifically focused on Twitter, but there are a ton of great content creators on YouTube, on Twitch, on Kick. Reputation, it's something that you can see online.
Why KOLs prefer to work with the agency?
We've had to pay out of our own pocket for a token deal. I'm sharing some alpha here now.
Hello, welcome to What's Going On podcast. Estefano is here. Thank you so much for joining. Could you please first introduce yourself and tell us about your company?
Sure, no worries. Thank you for having me, Mila. So my name's Estefano. I'm the founder of Kaika. We are a crypto native KOL agency. We specifically do four things. So the first thing is paid campaigns. So for example, you have a budget, you want to work with specific KOLs, we can sort of help you devise a strategy, the briefs, and make you broker the deals so that both sides are aligned. Then the other three things that we do is KOL OTCs and KOL rounds. And then lastly, we're probably one of the few agencies in the space that works directly with TikTok creators, mostly because two of my business partners are big TikTok content creators. I think they have over 5 or 6 million followers. And so because of this, we're sort of like a native agency. And we're also close to becoming, we've applied to become TikTok partners, official TikTok agency partners. So I'll let you know if that happens.
Cool. I'm very excited about this conversation because I know that in Web3, everything is about KOL marketing. Like mostly, like 90%, it's KOL marketing. So this will be very interesting conversation. Just to explain KOL, it's key opinion leaders.
Yes, it's but also it's really funny because so I have two agencies. I have Kaika as the crypto agency, but then I have Coco, which is a Web2 agency, and it works with consumer brands. And it's really funny because it's only in crypto that people call it KOL. Outside of crypto, they call it influencers, content creators,
Yeah.
never really KOL. So yeah, I thought that was funny.
Yeah, exactly. So sometimes when you say KOLs, people are, what's this? It's influencers, or sometimes you can say bloggers.
That's
So how you made the shift from working in a UK agency to founding your own? Because when we met 2 years ago, you worked for UK agency and you made strategy for us, I remember. What changed?
yes. So I started my own agency mostly because I understood that there was a big gap in a crypto content creator slash KOL agency. So one that specifically does serves that part of the market, because there was a lot of full service marketing agencies, and to be honest, most of these agencies worked like they white labeled services from other agencies that specifically focus in a specific niche. That was one of the main reasons, and the other reason was the agency I worked at was incredibly chaotic, and I felt like I could probably do a much better job myself. And so yeah, I launched Kaika over 2 years ago. We've worked with companies like Kraken, companies like Polygon, some of the team here have worked with companies like, Coinbase, Solana, Vax, like a lot of big names. What we, I guess, what I like to focus on the most is that most agencies have a list of like 50 creators, and you just have to choose from that 50 creator list. And we don't really take that approach. We have a large list, obviously, but we take a different approach. We try to understand what your category is and then what your objective is, and then we try to build a plan around that, and then we fit creators into that plan rather than, oh, here's a creator, we need to build a plan for that creator. Because having done this for, I don't know, like 5 or so years, I know that approach doesn't work.
Okay, cool. And did you face any challenges building KOL agency and how you went through them? I'm sure there
Yes.
were challenges, definitely.
So there was quite a lot of challenges. For me, the most difficult challenge, and it's still a huge challenge today, is scaling, because when you scale, you need to find the right people. And it's very difficult to find the right people doing KOL marketing, because most people, we've gone through so many different people, in terms of, we look at their CV looks great, they do really good in the interview, we ask them KOL specific questions, it all checks out. But then when it's time to execute, expectations do not match with what they said, or their execution does not match with the expectations that were set. And so, yeah, that's one of the most difficult parts of, I guess, any business, right? Finding the right people to grow with. Yeah, I would say that. Other than that, it's just, I guess, just competition and just trying to stand out in some sort of way. There's a lot of people that jump on trends and fads, and I feel like that's something that we didn't do. And I guess I'm sort of happy that we didn't do that, mostly because trends disappear after a while. And so some of the companies that focus specifically on trend, they ended up disappearing, or they didn't make a lot of noise. For example, I know there's a lot of agencies right now positioning themselves specifically for Kaito. I don't think Kaito will be around forever, mostly because for me it just feels like it's an overpriced leaderboard. And I mean, do you remember when we had leaderboards like Queston, Galaxy? Now no one really talks about them or even uses them. So I feel like that's going to be a thing. And yeah, like I'm sort of happy that we didn't chase these.
I think people stopped to use giveaways and this task system just because they realize that there are a lot of bots. Like they subscribe or they do some first action and then they don't convert into the real users. So they decided to not use them, probably.
100%, yeah. And I think people focus on completely the wrong things. So so agencies like to sell impressions and views and reach. They don't really focus on the conversion. Um, they focus on the wrong things. They focus on selling reach and projects, I guess, because of the lack of experience. They buy this reach, and so they say, "Oh yeah, we've reached like 500K or 1 million people." And then when you ask them
But
the question, "Okay, so what was your
what's the
conversion like?"
conversion?
Then yeah, and then all of a sudden they don't want to have the conversation anymore. So because of that, we like to focus specifically on quality over quantity. So, and to give you an example, we would much rather target a group of, let's just say, like 1,000 to 5,000 people we know would use your product over, let's say, a group of people that's 500K people, but you don't know whether they would use your product or not. And so for us, it's quality of audience, concentration of audience is what is key here. Obviously, messaging and positioning and all this other stuff is really important too. Uh, but yeah, and we have like special methods that we use, to make sure that this ends up working out. I'm sure we're going to talk about this later on in the
Yeah.
podcast.
Okay. I just wanted to ask you because you said that you have problems with hiring people. And how do you think? What's the reason? It's because it's mostly Generation Z, that people who are not really result oriented, or it's the problem with the industry, that the industry is fresh. That's why it's hard to find somebody who is very experienced.
I think it's less so the former and more so the latter. We have Gen Z as part of our team. I think, like, okay, don't get me wrong. We've been through some Gen Z that didn't have the right attitude, and we have some Gen Z in our team that definitely have the right attitude, and so they've stuck around for the 2 years that we've been around. But it's more so people say that they can do X, Y, Z, and then when it comes the time to actually do XYZ, they don't actually do it, or they don't know how to do it, or they ask questions that raise red flags that make you think, oh, but you should know this if you told me that you know how to do this. And so yeah, that's what we found. So there's a gap between, like, there are people that definitely know what they're doing, but in my opinion, their salary expectations are incredibly, like, way out of line, and so we're not going to go for those people, obviously. But then there's the other side, whereas people that salary expectations are okay, but then they say they have the experience, but they don't actually have the experience. It's like somewhere in the middle. We like to find people that's somewhere in the middle, and yeah, that's very difficult to find, essentially.
Okay. And how about clients right now? Is it easy or hard to find clients, and like how to keep them loyal? And if you have cases when clients propose to pay just with the airdrop, with the future token?
Yeah, so getting clients right now, I think it's, again, focusing on quality over quantity. So we like to work with clients who have a longer vision roadmap over a, like, oh, hey, we've got like, okay, we want to spend, like, can you help us out? And it's a short campaign. We don't like to focus on those, mostly because these guys are just testing things out. And I really feel like you might as well save our agency fee and try it yourself if you're testing things out, you know? We actually have a client actually that we're doing that with right now. For us, we have to position ourselves as investors when it comes to this sort of deal structure, mostly because we need to know for a fact that there's going to be value in this token for us to be able to justify spending our resources on this token. Because anyone could build a token, anyone could offer you tokens, but the key here is to find, you know, who are their backers, how have they been backed, what traction have they had, is the product actually ready, is it live, are there people using the product, what are their revenue metrics like, what are their on-chain metrics like. These are the sort of things, essentially we have to position ourselves as VCs to see whether it's worth, I mean, we obviously we don't invest our money, but we invest our time, whether it's worth investing our time into this project. And we have found a project, an RWA project, that we believe it's definitely worth spending our time with, for sure.
So you agreed to a token deal or hybrid deal, like a cash plus token, only if you trust the team, trust the founder, and you see good perspective in this project.
100%, yeah. So I think hybrid deals are more common between agencies and projects, but there has been occasions where we've accepted token allocations where, again, it makes sense to do it, you know.
Why do you think, why in Web3 KOLs are so important?
So in Web3, the reason why KOLs are so important is because other distribution channels are less effective, meaning, you know, in Web2, traditionally ads were a thing and they worked. People would convert on ads. But because I feel like people who are in crypto are so receptive to scams and all this other stuff, that sort of stuff doesn't really work. And crypto has this dilemma where you either have to spend time or money building this distribution channel so that you get your message and your product across the right audience, right? If we look at the time element of this dilemma, you can either start building a personal brand, you know, build on your founder brand, that sort of stuff. That takes time, months. And I don't think a startup has the luxury of months to get their messaging out there. And this is where you pay money for distribution. And this is where content creators, KOLs, they come in, because I guess content creators and KOLs have that trust already, and so it's your instead of spending months trying to build that yourself, you just do it within, you know, a few short days, and you can quickly see and get your message across to the right audience. So that's, I believe that's the reason why KOLs and content creators are becoming more important. But on the other side of, I know this is like Web3 specific, but I thought this would be a curious thing to share. On the other side, we're also seeing ad budgets being decreased and being spent more on smaller content creators, mostly because I guess content creators, they just have, you can build trust easily with a content creator rather than with an ad. We're also seeing, even the way you do an ad as a content creator, if it feels too much like an ad, then conversions will be really low. but it feels like you genuinely are brand aligned with this product and are using this product, then conversions seem to be higher. And I guess people are like consumers are like being more aware of what's an ad and what isn't an ad, you know? So yeah, it's pretty interesting to see, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. With like instead of building SEO and waiting like 3 months until it start to work, building brand, launching ads, etc., you can just buy pack of KOLs and you will get this trust and you will get these loyal users that you can wait for months. How projects are closing rounds with KOLs? Like very general question, I know, but
So I think the way so there's different ways of doing business with KOLs, right? So there is traditional paid campaigns, so you just pay them to be part of your campaign. There's more an organic approach where the KOL truly believes in what you're building and in fact wants to be part of the team somehow. This is incredibly rare, but it can happen. Then there's KOL investing in your project itself in the form of a over-the-counter trade, or if you haven't TGE'd yet, a KOL round. Right now, the OTC market and KOL round market is it's not hot. I think KOLs are struggling to find good opportunities. And I think projects, especially like there's a trend right now that the OG projects are doing a lot of OTCs, but they're doing it mostly with other VCs and funds and stuff because their vesting periods are more favorable to the project than if you were to do a KOL round. That's why KOL rounds tend to be a lot smaller than, your VC round. And yeah, and I feel like the way projects are able to do this is just by having the right pitch, having the right cocktail mix of things any investor would look at and say, yes, if I invest in this, there will be value. On the paid campaign side, it's totally different. I feel like the way projects should be closing, I don't know how they're closing, but like the way projects should be closing is number one, do I feel like this KOL is brand aligned to what we are doing? And then number two, financials. And you can structure those financials as, as you see fit, either a pure USDT payment, or it could be USDT plus referral commissions or referral fees, or it could be hybrid payment with referrals, or it could be, you can paint it as many pictures as you want. And so I guess that's the way projects are closing KOL deals.
okay, my favorite part, the game. So I will give you like a statement and you have to give your opinion if you think it's norm or cringe.
Okay.
Okay. In influencers in tokens only, like the project said, we want influencers who are ready to get payment in tokens only. Is it norm or cringe right now?
I would say it's somewhere in the middle. I think it depends on the project, but I think if you're not a project with not a lot of traction, cringe. If you're a project with a lot of traction, I think norm.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I agree. Influencers are using ChatGPT to write a thread. How do you think? It's norm or cringe?
I think if it's using ChatGPT to help you get data and help you like actually create the content yourself, norm. If it's literally copy paste AI slop, major cringe.
Yeah, I think it's cringe when it's very visible. If you see that it's ChatGPT, they haven't edited, and you can see that it's not on behalf of them. So if it's obvious, it's cringe.
The worst I've seen is, when ChatGPT, you prompt it and it gives you like, write this blog for me, and it writes the blog, and then at the end there's a separate section that says, here is the blog that I've written for you. It outlines XYZ. I've seen like content creators like literally copy paste that thing. Yeah, like that's super cringe.
The last phrase, right? Like, do you want me to improve it? And they copy it.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God.
Exactly.
Token launch on April Fool's Day.
That's a good one actually. I think it could be I'll go with cringe because I just feel like it's difficult to break out through all the noise in that day. So yeah, cringe.
I was thinking maybe it's norm because in crypto they don't really care. It's like Christmas, New Year, April Fool's Day. If the market is in the good condition and if it's the good time to launch, probably it can work better than in other day. So I would say maybe it's norm.
Yeah, I guess so. I think maybe it depends on the Joe that you launch in. I mean, I'm not sure if Asians have April Fools, but if they don't, then I guess yeah. For me, it's more of a clash between trying to break through all the noise that, like, for example, it's like trying to launch a token when Trump got shot. No one is going to pay attention to your token because Trump is just got shot, you know?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Okay, fake roadmap for hype. Like when founders are not going to develop it, but they just announce it to get hype.
I think, I think it depends. If you are just purposely faking this roadmap and there's nothing of substance there and you just want to get hype, this is clearly a hype thing, then cringe. If it's like a roadmap where you've shown traction already, I think that should be norm. So yeah,
Yeah, I agree. Founders doesn't show the face.
cringe,
Yeah.
100%. You should definitely show your face.
Yeah, if you don't want to show your face, it means that you don't really believe in this project or you have some problems with the previous ones.
100%.
Founder doing TikTok dances?
I recall Vitalik doing like singing in Japanese in a conference and the price of Ethereum went down. So cringe.
Okay. Running Twitter spaces with the 3 KOLs in the row. Today one, tomorrow another one, after tomorrow another one. Is it cringe or norm? Does it work?
As in KOLs being part of a Twitter Spaces, as in different KOLs being part of Twitter Spaces.
Yeah, let's say different.
I think that's pretty normal. I think it's pretty okay to have different KOLs being part of Twitter Spaces regarding with your brand.
Yeah, especially if your token sale is like in 3 days.
100%.
Okay, thank you so much. And the next part will be about metrics, how to measure KOL performance. How would you say what makes successful token launch? Like when you launch token and you can say, yeah, this was successful. How can you understand this?
So I believe a successful token launch, obviously price going up is your best marketing. And I mean, let's be completely honest, that's what everyone wants when their token launches. So yeah, obviously the way to verify whether something is good is whether the price of the token is going up. Now, um, obviously you would prefer for most of that to be retail and the crypto community buying into the token itself, but that's something that's very difficult to measure even if you have like an exchange or a dex, mostly because it's pretty difficult if it's an exchange. I'm unsure if an exchange will give you access to the wallets or users. I don't think they can, because of privacy reasons. So I mean that'll be pretty tough. The only thing that you can do, I guess, is work with your market makers to understand whether, the volume that you're getting is from the market maker itself or from, the exchanges market or whoever it is. Uh, if it's on a DEX launch, I think that's a little bit easier to measure, though, again, there's still quite a lot of discrepancies. Someone in the team could have a side wallet and just buy like 10K, and then all of a sudden, like there's a lot of like these sort of things that happen on the deck side. But yeah, I mean, we use Nansen to try to at least see the impact of the buys that the campaign is bringing, essentially. So
Yeah, so probably it's organic volumes, number of users who organically bought it, if we can see it, like if it's somewhere on chain or whatever, and the price. Yeah, these three. And maybe also number of mentions if we want to measure brand awareness.
yeah, I think for me it's mostly because brand awareness. I mean, look at Kaito, right? Kaito is seen or was seen as we're launching a token, we need to be on Kaito 100%. And it's really funny because people finally caught on that launching a Kaito campaign is just a waste of money. Do you remember Laudio, with the ticker Loud? Loud was meant to be an experiment where they launched a Kaito campaign. They had massive mind share, a lot of smart followers, like all the metrics on Kaito looked amazing. And then when the token launched, it was dead. And the reason for that is because the whole incentive structure with Kaito is totally messed up. If you're paying people to be part of your community and, they're not brand aligned, they're incentives aligned, as in, I know you're going to pay me, so I'm going to speak about you because I know that you're going to pay me, then that doesn't work. So for me, The brand awareness stuff is great, but the business metrics and objectives that matter. So like, what was the volume, token price, did that hold, that sort of thing. So that's what I would look at, I guess.
What's the red flags from founders? How do you think that you would not work with founders if you see this?
I think when they don't respect our sales processes or our internal processes, um, we have a specific process for things, and if they don't respect that, then that's a red flag. Or when founders want to spend a ton of money trying to like hot air, meaning sell a promise and product doesn't even come. I think that's a red flag. So yeah, I think those are really the two things that we look at for sure. Yeah,
Yeah, and do not show faces.
absolutely, 100%.
Did you have cases when KOLs brought zero traction and why it happened? Like you spent some big amount and there is no conversion.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've had cases like this before where KOLs have promoted it. We did see some uptick in social metrics, followers or community or whatever it is. But then there wasn't a lot of conversions, or the conversions didn't really match the expectations that we had for the campaign. Main reasons why that happened is because number one, your product isn't good enough. So not a lot of people are interested in your product, and therefore they don't want to invest in your product. Number two, the funnel was broken from the client side, meaning the product wasn't even ready. So, for example, we worked with a project where they wanted to spend a lot of money up front because they had TGE, and I said to them, I warned them, I was like, you're going to waste this money, and like it's much better to take your time and maybe push back TGE because it's not going to work, because your product is full of bugs and no one is going to invest in the token where the product is full of bugs. And so they went ahead with it anyway. I think they were under tremendous pressure from VCs and other parties. And yeah, and as I said, as I pointed out to them that it wasn't going to be successful. So yeah, I think I would reduce it down to product being ready, market ready, essentially.
So a product can be ready, or there is some technical problems they want to buy, but they cannot buy it. Also, of course, it will impact the price. Or even if the market situation is not okay, like if market is down and you're launching, and you'll not get good results in this moment.
Also, if you launch a token and it gets sniped on a DEX and the launch is ruined because insiders from the team like sniped, and there's a ton of reasons, I
Yeah.
guess. So sometimes it could also be that not the right KOLs were selected, or the KOLs that they selected were just not KOLs. They were actually just botted accounts. I think there's a lot of that. I think there's a lot of both sides of the coin. But now I'm starting to see, and I'm happy that this is happening. People are starting to want to work less with big content creators and more with niche creators that have concentrated and engaged audiences relating to a specific niche. Regardless of whether they have 1K, 500, or 10,000 followers, they would rather work with quality over quantity. So yeah, it's something good to see for sure.
Cool. And if to speak about like a target, when usually like founders companies prefer to post it, in what time, which regions they usually choose, and which format, it's obviously video or text depending on the social media, but time and regions, what they usually like to target for the token
I think
sale, let's say.
I think it depends on the go-to-market for the token itself. So we recently helped a company called Arceum with a public sale on CoinList, and I believe they wanted to target a lot of the Asian community. And obviously, like the messaging and the structure for them is different to the Western community. So, for example, the format and the way things are promoted is totally different to the Western market. So, for example, in the Western market, people focus more on hype and like vibes and attention over informative stuff. In the Asian market, it certainly feels like it's more informative. Like, this is the founder. He was previously at BlackRock and he did this, and this is the other part of the team, and this is the VC. The VC, was a seed investor for Solana and for OKX and all these projects, and whatever this VC touches is gold, and it's more. I feel like it's more that way than it is. I like the Western side. So yeah, those are I guess different things to consider, right?
Well, we spoke about this a bit before, but how do you think, in percentage, how much depends on product versus KOL hype? It's like 50-50, or there is another percentage?
I think 80% products, 20% KOLs. And the reason for that is because KOLs, again, they are a distribution channel. So they're there to distribute your product and your message. Your message might be great, but your product might not be great. And so what tends to happen if that's the case, then people go to your product, it's not ready, it's full of bugs. You see the traffic numbers going up, but the conversion numbers are not there. And the reason for that is because, you need to have a solid product in order for people to want to actually use it. So yeah, I would go like 80-20.
Yeah, makes sense. Well, about attribution, it's always hard to measure KOLs, like especially if it's token, especially if you don't have like landing page specific one where to track. I came from gaming industry and I didn't like to work with influencers just because it's really hard to measure. And when you launch influencers, you don't know the result exactly. Usually it's like 50% go to organic and you just check, okay, organic increased these days. It means that it's result of KOLs. But in Web3, and do you have some tips how to measure results? Like we already discussed that if it's token launch, we can check the volumes, number of on-chain users who bought, price. But if it's like, for example, you're sending them to some product, wallet, let's say, and you need to measure specific metrics, how to measure?
So the easiest way to measure KOL impact is through referral links. And that's the easiest way to measure. However, some KOLs don't like to use referral links either because they don't bring results or because they feel like it's less organic.
Yeah.
The content feels less organic, which is also true. The way we measure things is if a KOL, we'll always would want to approach it with a referral link because we can clearly attribute results to a KOL. But there's other ways that you can measure things. So, for example, if it's user acquisition or whatever it is, uh, if we take a baseline of your metrics before the KOL activation or the campaign activation, and then we take another like screenshot or what's the word people use in crypto? I forgot the word, but anyway, you take like there we go, snapshot
Snapshot, yeah.
of yeah, there we go, snapshot of your metrics during and then after the campaign, and then if you see an increase in specific areas, then you can easily say that this is part of the campaign. But yeah, the easiest way is really through referral links. Some other KOLs as well, depending on the KOL, when you ask them for analytics on the specific post, they're happy to share that with you. Uh, some platforms do provide the clicks. You can then look at click-through rates from the KOL, the KOL post to your landing page, and then with Google Analytics deduct which of these clicks went through and actually converted. There's other things that you could do as well, like I don't know, like KOLs could have their own specific landing page for their own UTM, or and it feels a little bit less paid media and a little bit more organic. But also one thing to point out, which is pretty important as well, is that um, KOLs help with brand, and what I mean by that is brand equity is very important, and is a thing that I think most people in crypto, they're just too short time framed to really add a lot of value to brand equity. And what brand equity basically is building an image of your company in such a way that it's associated with all the quality elements that you want it to be associated with, right? So for example, a company doing this really well is Sophon. I don't believe in the product, but I do think that they're building an incredible brand. And so because of that, they are getting quite a lot of attention and high quality attention. But basically, they have a whole media team and they're building a brand within Sophon that people want to be associated with because it's a cool brand. I do think it works for that specific element of business of getting the right people into your brand. But this is what I mean, where I mean about product having to be 80%. I don't think their product will be able to capture all of the quality attention that they're getting. And so, yeah, I guess those are my thoughts around that.
Okay, cool. Where to find good KOLs?
Um, I really think it depends on your niche and it depends on what you're trying to achieve. If it's, a token mindshare campaign where you're looking to engage with speculators, that's totally different than if you're doing a teaser acquisition campaign for, your trading platform or consumer platform or whatever it is. But I think good creators can be found in some info platforms. However, they don't. I feel like they don't tell you the full picture, as they just specifically focus on Twitter. But there are a ton of great content creators on YouTube, on Twitch, on Kick, on Discord, on Instagram, Reels. But there's a ton of other social media platforms that you can find valuable content creators.
How to check them, to check if they don't have fake followers, if their reputation is good?
I mean, reputation, it's something that you can see online. So, for example, Mario Nafal does not have a good reputation whatsoever, and you can see that on Twitter. His company, IBC, does not have a good reputation whatsoever, but you can see that on Twitter. And so that's how you check for reputation. In terms of botted account and botted following. So if there's different ways of looking at it, looking at their engagements, do they look like it's AI slop? Does it look like it's just random stuff, or does it actually look like genuine engagement? Genuine engagement could be someone asking a question of like, I don't know, like, oh, so how do I sign up to the product? Or I signed up to the product, but I'm still waiting to get approved. Do you know what's happening here? Like, those are the sort of things that actual people would ask, not like some long-winded texts. These are the different ways of looking at it. Other ways to verify whether they're good or not is look at the previous brands that they've worked with. If they've worked if they worked with them on like 1 to 3 posts, that typically is not a good sign. If they worked with them over a longer space of time, that's typically a really good sign. So that's a good another way to validate. And then there's like platform specific ways of doing it. On Twitter, if your followers follow that account, that's typically a good sign. So for example, you go on Twitter and you see like, oh, 200 other people, 100 of your followers follow this person. That's typically a good sign. What else? On YouTube, it's more so on the comments and the rate of views. So how quick do they get views? If they get views, so if they release a video and they have 100K subscribers and they get like 20K views in the first hour, that's impossible. That's all bots. So there's tools that you can use for this. So yeah, those are the different ways of doing it. TikTok, again, just looking at the actual TikTok comments. If they do live sessions, actually being part of the lives and seeing who asks comments and that sort of stuff. So yeah, I guess there's platform specific ways of doing it.
Well, I can add here that like founder or the team of marketers or marketer, they can check content and to see if they want to be associated with this type of content. If yes, it's fine for them. And also, yeah, as you said, interaction. If there is million followers, but there is not so many views or there is not so many comments or likes, it means that they are not alive.
Yeah, 100%.
How to build a long-term relationship with the KOLs? Like, let's say I'm the founder, I want to launch campaign. Why should I go to you to buy pack of KOLs and don't go direct to KOLs? And why KOLs prefer to work with the agency instead of directly working with founders?
So the problem that an agency solves is so either you can spend months trying to get access to a KOL, build that relationship, and so on and so forth, or you can pay an agency like us that already has all the insights, know how to access the KOL, what's the deals they typically go for, all this other stuff. And we also know what specific tactics work with specific create, and we can include this into the brief. So we have that know-how. Whereas with if you were to do this in-house, you would need a team to consume the content, like do all this other stuff. And that's the reason why I guess companies prefer to work with us. We also tell them whether what they're thinking of doing will work or will not work. We're pretty honest here. We like to do like crypto. I don't think is a big space, and so reputations like they travel. Like everyone knows everyone's reputation. We always like to focus on doing good work. And that's why most of our business comes from referrals. And why KOLs like to work with us. So our agency, I built it with other creators as well. So the reason why content creators would like to work with us is because we know what deals they like, and we know when we get in touch with them, they know that we have a good deal for them, and we know that they're going to like that deal. And we also, if a project promises something they don't deliver or whatever it is, we offer them guarantees. So, for example, we've had to pay out of our own pocket for a token only deal, where the launch was absolutely like it was trash. It didn't work out, and we had to like give them some of our we had to pay them to make it better for them, I guess. And I guess as an agency like us, we have to sort of prepare for those sort of things. So yeah. We also help content creators with and clients with actual content itself. So for example, if a cool video needs to be done or something needs to be done, we have an internal content team that focuses specifically on that. So we don't sell content services, but we help with content as part of working with us, kind of thing.
Okay, so there is a lot of advantages why they have to work with you instead of working directly with founders. Cool. Did you have some like weird, well, so you explained already once when talking didn't went well, so you had to pay cash from your own agency. Did you have any other like weird situations or something went unexpected or something funny happened, like some creepy cases with KOLs?
Negative or positive?
If you can, one positive and one negative.
Okay, I guess negative. I already explained that one where we had to pay out of our own pockets to make it better for the KOL because the client didn't agree on the deal. It was interesting because it looked like a pretty promising team. The person that was working there is still a friend of mine. So I thought, this could be a good deal. But the founder, I guess they just didn't know what they were doing. And so yeah, and positive, well, I've seen some content creators take charts and prices from like 10x what they started. And that's always pretty exciting to see, and you get the rush, obviously. Um, I've also seen, I'm sharing some alpha here now.
Yeah.
I've also seen when you know how the social media platform works. So like the intricacies of the actual platform, even the smallest creator can create the largest impact. And I'll just give you the example. So we worked with this company where they wanted to engage with YouTubers and Spanish YouTubers to be specific. And we worked with this creator that had like 5K subscribers. But we made sure that his post was SEO optimized. Yeah, if you look at his videos, it was like he would get like, I don't know, like 500 views, 1K views, that sort of stuff. And then this video itself, um, I think it had over like 200 and something K views. And the conversions on it was insane. So like the ROI was just absolutely insane. And so yeah, I guess like make sure that whatever it is that you're doing is optimized for the platform itself. One thing that people don't really do is like SEO optimize. Even SEO optimizing Twitter is very important. That's something I do with my brand, and that gets me a lot of inbounds because we SEO optimize on Twitter natively, we SEO optimize on YouTube natively, we SEO optimize on TikTok as well based on keywords. And yeah, that's something that people don't seem to think about.
And it was only SEO optimization. You didn't launch ads on this, like because I know that some companies they buy and then they use this video to launch a paid ads campaign, for example. So it was just SEO optimization, only this. Wow! So it was good for project, and also it was good for this influencer because probably he gained views, and probably he gained also new followers. Cool.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. This is what I mean. Each platform has its own way of working, and you just need to adjust it to that. Like a good example here is on TikTok, literally the first milliseconds, you need to use really good visual hooks because that's how you capture people into watching the rest of the video. If your first initial visual hook is crap, then forget about it. The same with YouTube and the thumbnails and the title and everything else. So yeah, I guess those are like different things. Aside of us knowing which KOLs are good, we also have the knowledge of what works in each platform, and we optimize the brief and the content for that specific use case.
Oh, that's cool. You mentioned that your influencers are taking tokens, and there was case when it was not successful. So it's like a lottery. You participate, and you can win a lot, or you can lose a lot. In percentage, from the like, which percentage of token deal were successful, which were not successful for the last 2 years?
We've only really taken, I think it was 3 or 4, and there was just only one that was really bad. There was another one that we kind of made a little bit of profit, but then the other ones were pretty good. So yeah, I would say, I would say that actually it's very difficult to find a good deal that's a token only deal, because you have to act as a VC, right? And so a lot of people will come to you with their tokens, but if it's not like, if the project doesn't have traction, or whatever it is, you need to make sure that you make a solid decision, because otherwise it doesn't work.
Can you tell me from 1 to 3 tips how to work with the KOLs in 2025?
Absolutely. So tip number one, don't send them lowball offers, because you will ruin your chances of working with that KOL later on. Number two is make sure that the KOLs that you're working with are brand aligned, meaning they would actually be a natural user of your product. And number three, if you haven't done any KOLs do not spend 6 figures on your first campaign, because it's going to fail. You need to test, and you need to figure out what positioning works for you, if the market actually likes your product. And for that, you don't need to spend 6 figures. You can spend 20K, 30K, and you'll find out very soon. So yeah, those are the 3 things.
Do you still believe that altcoin will happen this summer or autumn? Alt season, alt season.
So I think alt season will come. Right now, BTC just hit a new all-time high. I think, and I firmly believe, that the people who are buying BTC, Ethereum, and Solana right now are institutions who are going to front run quantitative easing later on this year. The buyers of altcoins are mostly retail. I do think that retail will come in eventually, and that will likely be end of this year, if not Q1 next year.
Let's hope. Okay, Estefano, thank you so much. It was very interesting and very insightful. I will mention all your socials and the agency links in the description. Thank you so much for participating.
No worries. Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure, and happy to.
Thanks a lot. Have a nice day.